Administrators and astronauts head to New Orleans East to celebrate an important milestone as they get ready to send humans back to the moon about a year from now.
The Artemis 2 rocket is now in its final stages of assembly. Rob Masson has more from Michoud in New Orleans East.
These are exciting times out here at Michoud as they build the rocket that will return man to the moon sometime next year. But as they continue work on Artemis 2 here, they are celebrating the anniversary of the successful launch of Artemis 1 exactly 1 year ago today.
Congratulations on Artemis 1. You guys kicked some butt.
It was a rare opportunity for the astronauts who will fly Artemis 2 next year to come to the giant factory to see where the biggest rocket ship ever built is now being put together.
One of the gentlemen who works here was asking me as we were looking at core stage about an hour ago, are you brave or are you crazy? And I think we are crazy and a little maybe brave, I don't know.
Nearly 3,500 people work at the Michoud assembly facility, welding together the massive fuel tanks and building out the Orion space capsule, which is scheduled to launch 4 astronauts into space in about a year. 3 of those astronauts came to Michoud to let the workers know how much they appreciate the jobs they do.
Your work truly inspires me, but I just wanted to reflect back to you today. I am so proud to be part of this program, be part of your team, because you are, every person, I guess, you have energy and you have gifts and talents that you can bring to the world. And you are using your gifts and your talents and your energy to do something that is lifting up not just this great country, but people from around the world.
NASA officials say Artemis 1, which circled the moon last year and returned safely to Earth unmanned, was a smashing success. And they say the template has now been set for more Artemis missions to come.
All of that happened because of the work that is going on right here. So I wanted to say thank you for setting that legacy.
These preliminary Artemis missions are key as NASA tests out new systems that could ultimately send man to Mars, and New Orleanians will play a vital role.
Everything you did for Artemis 1, we still need you. We've got work to do. We have a lot of work to do, and it's critical work, and it is history-making work.
That Mars launch is still a long way off. Target date sometime in the 2030s. From Michoud, Rob Masson, Fox 8 Local First.
It's pretty exciting. Boeing, one of the main contractors at Michoud, presented G&O Inc. a check this afternoon for $100,000. It's part of an effort to boost science and technology education in the region.